So I'm back with another club story because I don't know how the last video did, to be fair, because I'm recording this right after the other one, simply because I want to get my daily uploads back so I can get my subscriber count moving up again. But yeah, today I'm back with another club story because I do have quite a few of these, I'm going to be honest. So yeah, in the last one I talked about my mate chundering, so this time I'm going to talk about the time that I chundered in the club. Also happened on a Tuesday night. So yeah, let's get into this. So this story does involve Tim from the last story, but not as much. There are a few others, but they don't have a lot of relevance in the story, so I'm not going to give everyone names. I'm only going to give like certain people names if they come into it at any point. Now on Tuesday, literally every single student at this uni goes out, right, to the same exact place. And the problem with that is the queue is absolutely horrendous. So you've got to get there at literally like 10 p.m. or otherwise you're not going to get in until about midnight. And standing in the cold in like February time when this story happened is not fun for 2 hours. And we left pre's quite late at this point. I think we left at like 10:30, which isn't late usually. But the problem with this club is literally the queue is awful if you get there too late. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if it's the amount of people trying to get in or just if the bouncers let like 2 people in every 10 minutes. But it's literally awful, right? There's no way around it. And the only thing you can do is get there early. So we left pre at like 10:30 with about, I want to say 6 or 7 other people. So we got to the club and the queue was horrendous, right? I'm talking, it was probably like, I want to say at least 600 people long. And that sounds like an exaggeration, but it really wasn't. It was absolutely insane, right? So we're in Bournemouth, right? So there's got to be somewhere else to go. So we end up at this other place, which is across the road, which is pretty dead. But they do also cheap drinks, and a few people did turn up as the night went on. Obviously we were there really early because it was like 10:30 at this point. So we go in, right? It's free entry because they want as many people to go there as possible on a Tuesday night, which is the night that everyone goes to this other place that we tried to get into. So we go in there and start doing rounds of Jaeger bombs again. Now, I'm not really a fan of Jaeger bombs. I mean, we drank them in the last video. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Jaeger bombs, and this story you're going to find out why. So we start doing rounds, right? It's me and 3 other people. We don't need to give them names because they don't really have much relevance in the story, right? So Luke kind of realises that this night is pretty dead, right? So he has like a couple of pints and then leaves. So it's me, Tim, and a few others doing like rounds at Jaeger bombs, right? And this is the place that I was on about in the last video, if you watched that does really, really strong Jaeger bombs, and the other place waters them down, right? That's how they can sell them so cheaply. So I think the Jaeger bombs there are like £2.50, right? And there's 4 of us doing rounds, right? So that's what, £8 a round for each person? So we're already quite steaming at this point. I want to say I had quite a bit of prees, maybe like 2 bottles of Lambrini, which was my go-to at this point. I can't do that anymore because I just yak everywhere. But that was my go-to at this point, right? So I'm already pretty steaming. So we start doing these Jaeger bombs, right? And I'm feeling great, I'm going to be honest, from what I remember anyway. But obviously, we were all steaming, right? And so was Tim as well, right? He hadn't chundered at this point. I don't know how he hadn't because he chundered so easily in the last video. So we're slamming Jaeger bomb after Jaeger bomb, right? Now this doesn't end well. Obviously, we're all quite steaming and it's very, very obvious at this point. So this is where my memory gets a bit weird, right? So the bouncer, right, he comes over and it's nothing major, right? He doesn't start dragging us out, but he taps me on the shoulder and tells me to follow him, right? So at this point I'm thinking, oh no, this can't be happening, surely not. And he makes me follow him outside, right? And he says, look bro, you're very, very drunk, you need to go home. And I'm not one to start a fight with the bouncer, so I just go with it. I'm like, yeah, alright mate, see you later. And I walk home, which is about, what, a 10-minute walk max at this point. So I managed to stumble home, right? I don't really remember this bit, but obviously I got home, so this is the only way I would have. I wouldn't have called a taxi for a 10-minute walk. So I walk home, right? I don't remember this bit, but I remember this bit coming up, right? So I start getting this feeling that I need to be sick, right? But I think it's just like, oh, it'll go away in a second, right? But as soon as I walk in the door, I just chunder everywhere, all over the wall. It was disgusting, bro. And usually if I've been out, I'll try and down water before I go to bed, just so the hangover isn't awful. But obviously at this point, I'm chundering everything I can put in my body. So I can't down any water, so I just got to go to bed, right, and hope the hangover isn't that bad. Spoiler alert, it was awful. So I end up spewing my guts up, right, going to bed, waking up the next morning, feeling awful. I got some painkillers off my housemate, Albert, right? He was in the last story as well, shout out to him. He came through with those painkillers. After a few of those, I was alright. But the night before, I left before this happened, right? So apparently all of the people I was with, including Tim, everyone I was doing shots with, they all got kicked out as well, right? And their memories are worse than mine, because I can remember chundering. I don't remember walking home, really. But at least I remember chundering, right, and going to bed. So apparently Tim got kicked out like half an hour after I did, because he was so drunk at the same time. He told me this, right? But he was steaming, so he just got this off somebody else. Apparently he gave his phone to a homeless person and let them ring someone on it. God knows why. And then got home and just felt awful the next morning. Probably chundered as well, to be fair. This man chunders quite a bit. But yeah, that's all I got for this story, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Wasn't as good as the last one, I don't think, but there we go. Hopefully you got a laugh out of this. Leave a like if you want more stories. This is my 5th day in a row uploading for the first time in literally 3 years, I think. So come on, that deserves a subscribe, doesn't it? But yeah, I think that's all I got. So leave a like if you enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video. I'm out. Peace.
Chopper go stupid like a retard.